Hello everybody, we are back again with another price update. Last month we did Silver Age and it was an absolute disaster. Silver Age for the first 3 months of 2026, pretty much tanking, not good. So this month we're going to the Bronze Age and we're gonna switch it up a little bit here. So you notice what I have done in the past is for Bronze Age, I've always had the 4 books you see here, but at some point in 2025 I also added House of Secrets 92, but I've moved it out of this because I am working on putting a Bronze Age horror price analysis together. So because of that, I'm going to replace that book with a new book, and I'm going to show you that one at the end. Again, if you watched my video last month on Silver Age, it was not good to start out the year. There was a lot of red, a lot of books going down. And I think you all will be very interested to see what a different video this is compared to last month's Silver Age update, okay? So, needless to say, let's get into it. You guys know how I do it. I always use GPA data, and it's always universal blue label data, only blue label, all right? And what grades am I including? Well, it's got to have at least one sale in 2025 and at least one sale in 2026, either in March or April, because we like to keep our data points as recent as possible, especially since we're in May now. I really don't like going back more than a month or two. All right, we always start out with Amazing Spider-Man number 129, first appearance of the Punisher. This was one of the books that was actually a somewhat good guy when I did my 2025 recap back in January, because 2025 was not a good year for Silver Age or Bronze Age, but this book kind of held its own. So very curious to see how this book has performed at the beginning of 2026, especially with the movie coming out. Spider-Man movie's coming out. Punisher is a huge character in it. You know there's some momentum building with this character. So let's see what happened. This book ended 2025 just under a $3,100 book. So we've got 4 months to update. January, February, March, April. Let's go. January, it went up. February, up a lot. March, up a slight bit, and April, a big improvement as well. This book is up almost $500 in 4 months. What a difference 4 months makes. 16% improvement. So this arrow and the percentage I show on the side doesn't always tell the story because it's a percentage, and percentages could be misleading. So I like to show all the individual grades as well. So here you go. Look at this. Look how much green. All but 2 grades made increases, and most of them really significant increases. So this book is absolutely hot. First appearance of the Punisher. Great way to start off 2026. Great way to start off this Bronze Age video. Let's see if we can keep it going here. Giant Size X-Men number 1. This did not have a good 2025 at all. In fact, if I go back years all the way back to 2022, this book's essentially been steadily declining for 3+ years. Needless to say, it ended still on average. December was a good month for it. Just over $5,000 on average. Let's go. January down, February down, March way down, April even further down. So this book looks like it has tanked by almost $700 or down 13%. But look at the other side of the story here. Look at that. The 9.8 is driving this. Significant decrease on the highest price book. And yeah, it's going to drive your average. And you look at everything else, right? Double the amount of green as we have red. So this is a perfect example why I show not only the averages, but also the individual grades. So I call this a win for X-Men in these first 4 months. When you have essentially 70% of the grades going in the upward direction, that means the book is doing well. All right, that's my take, but let's keep going. We have 3 more books to go through. Let's see if the trend continues here or if we start to see the Bronze Age kind of fall off like we've seen the past few years. All right, Marvel Spotlight number 5. First appearance of Johnny Blaze as Ghost Rider. So also not a good 2025. We're going to see if the beginning of 26 made any difference. This book ended just under $1,700. January, a little bit up. February, big drop. March, up a little bit. April, big increase. And the book is up a measly $14, but it is up. So we're calling it a 1% increase. And again, we look at all the grades. So when you see a 1% increase, you would think, all right, you're going to have half the grades going up, half the grades going down. But this is what it looks like. Again, we have twice as many grades. I think 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 grades going up, 4 grades going down. Again, almost 70% of your sales are going in the upward direction. This is another win. I call this for the Bronze Age, even though it's only 1% on average. Look at why that is. The 9.0 dropped 40%. You have big increases, right, in the 9.0 grades and above, or big decreases, and it's really going to sway averages. And we see that a lot. So, again, I'm calling this a win. Marvel Spotlight number 5, Ghost Rider. Great start to 2026. All right, the King of the Bronze Age, Incredible Hulk 181, the first full appearance of Wolverine. So this is very similar to Giant Size X-Men number 1 and a lot of Bronze Age books and all the Silver Age books. This book has been steadily declining for about 3 years. And 2025, no exception. Now, we had this weird thing between October and November. It's because the 9.8 went from like a $50-some thousand sale to a $70-some thousand sale, but then it started coming back down. So regardless, this book ended $10,000 at the end of 2025 on average. Let's get into January. Huge increase. Again, that 9.8 making some big changes up and down. Huge change in February. March down again. April up. But overall, this book is down a little over $300 on average, which is down 3%. But I'm telling you, when you see the grades, you're going to know why. It's that 9.8 again. All those big ups and downs are the 9.8, not knowing where it wants to be. So for the first part of 2026, 9.8 is down 17%. Again, it is driving the average because it's a huge sale price. When it's jumping between $50,000 and $70,000, and your next highest sales at 9.6 is, maybe I don't know, $10,000, right? It's like a fifth of that. Then maybe it's a little more than 10 grand. Regardless, it's going to drive your average. And look at all the green on here. We've got, I don't know, maybe 80% of the sales of the grades are increasing in value. So again, we are 4 for 4 on Bronze Age books where most grades are increasing in price. And I want to show you just what a difference the first 4 months of 2026 have made compared to 2025. So when I show you all the grades from my 2025 video, look at that. For the entire year of 2025, a sea of red. I mean, it was an absolute bloodbath for Hulk 181. And look at the difference now in the first 4 months of 2026. Man, what a difference. What a difference. Bronze Age, you guys, Bronze Age is on fire. It is cooking. All right, one more book to go. And yes, this is our mystery book. We're adding a new one in. People have been asking for this one for a long time, and I've been saying I was going to do it. It is none other than X-Men 94, the first appearance of the new team in the title. Of course, we know their first full appearance was Giant Size X-Men number 1, which I already have in these videos. Now we're going to look at how it did in the actual title. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit. This is all the 2025 data, and I would say it held its own, right? Yeah, the first couple months of 25, it dropped down a little bit, but from March through the end of the year, it was a $1,300 book, and of course it ended 2025 as a $1,300 book. So let's see. Brand new to the Bronze Age video, how did this book do in the first 4 months of 2026? Is it going to fall in line with all the other big Bronze Age keys? Here we go. January, up just a little bit. February, down about the same amount. So we're pretty much even. March, up. April, big increase. This book is up $122 to start the year, or 9%. And when you look at the grades, kind of the same as the others, right? Double the amount of green as you have red, 70%-ish. Grades increasing in value. So this is a huge win for Bronze Age in my mind. Now, here's what I do next, right? I put them all together and I show you what the average looks like. So all 5 of these books average together just about $4,200 on average to end 2025. And then in 26, January, February, March, April, and the average dropped about $75. So you're saying, hey, why, right? Why is it down 2% when we saw all that green? Well, it's because of those 9.8s and those 9.6s with huge decreases really drove the averages. So again, I remind you, all the individual grades, ASM 129, Giant Size number 1, Marvel Spotlight number 5, Hulk 181, X-Men 94, they all increased, when you add all these grades together, by a whopping 73%. Guys, over 70% of all the grades of these Bronze Age keys are going up in value. And that is nothing to ignore. So, Bronze Age, you guys going crazy. What a different video compared to the one I did last month for Silver Age, and back in January when I did the entire year in review for 2025. Man, things have changed, and I'm curious now to see what's happening with Silver Age books if I go look at the April data, because remember, Silver Age, I only did January, February, March. So the question now is why? Why is everything going up in value? Well, guys, a couple reasons, I think. First of all, people are super excited for the movie coming in December. Avengers Doomsday, and so many of these characters are going to be part of that movie, and just in general that becomes contagious to other comic books as well, right? People are getting excited about it. Also, don't forget, April, May, and June are traditionally the biggest months in terms of comic book sales for the year. That happens pretty much year in, year out. When the whole COVID thing was happening, it was a little bit different, but prior to that, and now we're kind of getting into this mode where, you know, the second quarter of the month is really crazy for sales. Like, everyone's got spring fever, you know, convention season has started. And the last thing I want to say is collectibles in general are kind of going crazy again. It's kind of a little bit reminiscent to what happened when COVID started, where there was this huge boost in collectibles, but, you know, COVID's not here. So, and I'm not even going to mention that other thing people are talking about. But anyway, those are kind of the reasons why all these things are happening, right? There is so much anticipation for that movie in December with Avengers Doomsday and the Spider-Man movie coming out. And then in September, Avengers Endgame is going to come out, and just a lot of excitement right now. So ride the wave, enjoy it while you can. Maybe it's going to keep going. Who knows? None of us can predict that. Is it most likely going to be temporary? Probably. But again, enjoy it. Enjoy it even if it is temporary, right? Go out, buy the books you want, sell them, make a profit if you want to as well, right? It's a good time to make profit, or just buy them if you feel like prices are going to keep going up and think you can get a good deal right now. Anyway, you look at it, Bronze Age, great start to the year. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Here's what I have coming up next, and I told you about it in the last video. We're doing a Golden Age one. It's going to be difficult because the data is so sporadic, but I'm putting it together. You're going to see it. And then as we get a little bit closer to Halloween season, I'm going to do a Bronze Age horror price analysis as well. That's going to be a fun one. People have been waiting for that for a long time, but don't worry, I'm not going to wait all the way till like Halloween to do it, but we're going to get a little bit closer to Halloween season before I do that one, all right? So that's it. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Let me know if you want to see any different books, and I always try to include them in future videos. And don't forget, this weekend, Motor City Comic Con, I'm going to be there. We're going to do videos. Maybe I'll even go live there. Keep an eye out for that. Until next time, have a great day.